Shalom Israel and happy Sabbath. I'm back again with another lesson, and this lesson is called Immodest Daughters of Israel. Immodest Daughters of Israel. And I'm just taking the time to address our sisters who are not in the truth, that don't know who they are, don't know they're an Israelite. I just want to speak about the way, how we see our women today, the way that they act, the way that they behave, the way that they carry themselves, the way that they dress today is so far gone from our foremothers from the days of antiquity. We have really fallen a long way. You know, there was a time when our women were upstanding, they were respectable, they had dignity, they were honorable, they were righteous, they were virtuous women, and they were the standard of beauty. Our women were at one point in time, but we've lost a lot of that because we have not kept the laws and the commandments. And where there is no law, there is no order, and when there is no order, there is chaos. And that's what we see as the nation of Israel, especially with our women. I'm doing this lesson in love. I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm not trying to belittle anybody. But correction has to come out. Rebuke has to come out in order to identify a problem. And then we invite a solution. And this solution is the Word of God. Our women today have no knowledge of proper dress code. We don't know how to speak to one another. We don't know how to cook. We don't know how to clean. We don't know about a woman's role in a marriage. We don't raise our children properly. We haven't been taught how to be righteous at all. We are just, it has been a cycle of women from generation to generation that is just carrying on that bad behavior and teaching their daughters that same bad behavior that they learned. Because, hey, where there is no law, there is no order. So the reason why I'm doing this lesson is because I see a lot of our women are out of order, completely out of order. You know, like I said, we do not display any modesty whatsoever. So when just looking at the word immodesty, this is the definition of immodest. It means lacking humility or decency, improper, indecent, immoral, impudent, shameless, loose, wanton. And all of these words apply to the majority of our women. They always say that our women are loose. She ain't got no shame. She's indecent. And that's majority of women, not all of our women, because we got a lot of sisters out there. They are modest and they understand their role in marriage, and they have a husband, and you know, are righteous and are virtuous. So I'm not talking about you sisters. I'm talking about our sisters who just don't know. A lot of our sisters, they are the way that they are because they haven't been taught. They haven't been taught how to be a woman, and not just a woman, but a woman of the Most High. So I'm going to jump right into it. And the first thing we got to understand is that our people are under the curses. As a nation of people, we are cursed because the Lord said that if we did not listen to him and keep all his laws and commandments, that this is what he would do to us. So I want to go to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 56. And it reads, "The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in all thy gates." So there was a time where our women were tender and delicate. And when you're tender, you're compassionate. You have love. There's understanding. You show sympathy. But because of these curses that we live under, and that we are under now in the land of our enemies, because it says that secretly in the siege and straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all their gates. Well, we're still in the siege and the straitness. It's called the ghettos, the hood, if you will. And notice that it said tender and delicate. That's how we used to be. But our women are the very opposite of this. It said that she wouldn't even venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for her delicateness and tenderness. We were so delicate that we didn't even want to touch the ground when we walked. But now, shoot, our women just as bad as the men now. Now they out there thugging. They out running the streets, dressing improperly and being immoral. But there was a time we didn't even want to touch the ground. And you know what? The nations admired that. Like, man, look at how delicate those women are. But not anymore. We see just the opposite. The other day, I was just on the internet and I was browsing because I love to keep up with the news. And Nicki Minaj popped up on one of the websites that I was on, and they were talking about the way she dressed, which she always dressed in, immodest, and as well as the other celebrities. But anyway, she had on a revealing dress that was short. It went way past her kneecaps all the way up, to like the upper thigh, so her butt can show real big like our women like to be. And she had one boob out and had a star on her nipple, and the other boob was in. It kind of reminded me that because Lakim did something like that. And it really had me like, this is what we've come down to. This is the level that we've dropped to. That all we're good for is our bodies. And it's very, very sad. And they put these women on a platform to influence our younger women, because a lot of, I should say our children, because a lot of our women aren't doing their jobs and teaching the daughter. So the daughter is learning everything from the television. She's learning everything from the movies and in the music. And all of that is influencing our young girls. And that's why we see a lot of our young girls dressing immodest and speaking. I hear a lot of our women and our young girls say things that are inappropriate. There is no decency. They just say whatever. They don't care. It just flies out of their mouth. They don't think about what they're going to say at all. And that's immodest. Because immodest is not just in your dress, but it's in the way you act. It's how you talk, the way you carry yourself. Just you all around as a woman. It tells a lot about who you are within. So no woman, you can't fool me and tell me, well, it doesn't matter if I wear short shorts and if I speak like this and I call her a B, that's my girl and all that. And if I wear a crop top and whatever I want to wear, that don't make me, that don't mean I'm some nasty freaking woman. Well, yes, that's what that means. Because everyone that's on the outside is looking at you. That is the message that they're going to get from the way that you dress and the way you act, if that makes sense. And so our eye is evil towards our husbands and toward our sons and our daughters. Look at the way our women treat their men and treat the children. There is no love, no compassion. And if a woman has a problem with her so-called baby daddy, just all kind of evil, got to throw the man all on child support and do all this other evil stuff, keep him from seeing the child, especially if he's a good man, and just do all kind of evil. That's not right. And I'm not going to get on the men. I leave the men to the men. I'm getting on the women. You have to be corrected. Everybody got to be willing to receive correction. We need to get in line, sisters, because it's just too much. We just out of order. Just saying anything, wearing anything, going anywhere. That stuff got to stop. So we're not that tender and delicate. We're not the tender and delicate women that we once were. And that's really sad. Now I want to go to Isaiah 3 and verse 16 and see what else the Most High did to us for not keeping his law. It says, Isaiah 3 verse 16, moreover, the Lord saith, the Lord, not me, not anybody else, the Lord. He said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. This is how our women are today. We still haughty, still stiff necked, still can't tell me nothing, girl, I got it going on, and you're at the bottom. Even though we run the worst households, still prideful, still haughty, still arrogant. So this is what the Lord said he was going to do. 17, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. That's why you dress the way you dress. That's why you got to put somebody else's hair on your head. That's why you're ashamed of how you look. The Lord did this to us, sisters, because we didn't want to keep the laws and the commandments. And I look at verse 17 as not only the physical smiting, as far as a lot of our women, they have a lot of hair issues. They can't grow their hair in certain spots, balding and all of that, but it's also conscious for me too. That's what that means. It's like a conscious smiting too. Is why you don't see yourself in a positive light, why you hate yourself. Too haughty. You got to quit being haughty and prideful. You got to put that spirit away. You need to repent. 18, in that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet. What I'm about to read is how our ancestors used to dress. Very beautiful. Dressed down. They were modest. But the Lord saying, I'm going to take away the tinkling ornaments about their feet, their calls, their round tires like the moon, the chains, the bracelets, the mufflers, the bonnets, and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands, and the tablets, and the earrings, the rings, and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantle, and the wimples, and the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. That's how you know that this was a black people, because there is no other nation of women dressing like this and doing like this except the so-called black woman, which is Israelite women. Okay, we dress like that. We still do that today. Got all the clothes, got all this jewelry on, got the pocketbooks, got all that. We still do that today. Okay, but the Lord said, I'm going to snatch that. And he did too. Look at how we came over on the slave ships. Naked and bare. You had to wrap your head up and everything. We weren't allowed to show our hair. Because you a slave now. So the Lord really did it to our sisters. 24. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be a stink. And instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of well set hair, baldness. And instead of a stomacher, a girding, a sackcloth. And burning instead of beauty. So ladies, that fishy smell, that crab smell. The Most High did that. We no longer have that sweet smell. We stink now. And it's a lot of women around here. They walk around, they look good on the outside, but they funky. And it said instead of a girdle, a rent. You're going to be fat, basically. You're no longer going to have that slim body with your six-pack. You're going to be fat now. You're going to weigh like 300 pounds. Instead of well-set hair, baldness. Again, Lord going to smite that head. So now you're going to have bald spots on your head. You're not going to be able to grow your hair. You're going to have to go down to the store and buy some hair from another nation of people. And that hair is prayed over before they ship it over here and bring it into our communities, set up the stores and sell it to you. And I don't know what kind of hair I don't really get into the little hair thing. I know a lot of people like talk about the Indian hair, the Remy hair, whatever it's called. It's not your hair. So the Lord is right. Is he not, ladies? That's why you funky. That's why you fat. That's why you wearing weave on your head instead of your own hair. You can't grow your hair. You ever wondered why? Disobedience.